Hello and welcome back to another episode of Saving United, the CM0102 save on the updated database, where we are trying to bring Man United back to the top of European football. Now, let's take a little look at how we got on since you were last here. Okay, so in the last episode, our last game was that 2-0 defeat against Man City. Since then, it's been going pretty well. We have won all of our games via one. We started off with a game against Leeds. It was a little bit tight, this one, actually. We did have to score fairly late to come back and win 3-2 away at Leeds. We had goals from Bruno Fernandes with two, and Mbeumo came off the bench to score one. We then had our League Cup third round game against Championship Middlesbrough. It was a heavily rotated side and a fairly comfortable win. Mbeumo getting a hat-trick, so that is 4 in his last 2 outings. Hayden Hackney scoring a consolation goal for Middlesbrough in the 90th minute. But we're keeping an eye on Mbeumo at the moment. And against Spurs, we ended up with a 2-2 draw. Can you guess who scored for us? Yep, it was Bryan Mbeumo. He's played his way back into first team. We were talking in the last episode about finding a partnership with Rashford, and Mbeumo has seemed to hit a rich vein of form. Bruno Fernandes got our second, and Bergvall and Victor Osimhen scored for Spurs. This was a little bit frustrating because Spurs went 1-0 up. We then scored 2 goals, either just after half time, and Osimhen equalised for them in the 84th minute. It was even more frustrating because we played the majority of the game with 10 men, thanks to De Ligt getting sent off. I feel like I've said that a lot. And then Porro got sent off in the 90th minute for Spurs, which didn't really do much to change the game. We then got a 1-0 win away at Brighton. Bryan Mbeumo scored. Can you see where this is going? And then we followed that up with a 1-0 win in the League Cup 4th round against Sunderland. Bryan Mbeumo scored. The last game we played before we bringing you back in was Fulham, where Harry Wilson scored for them. And of course, Bryan Mbeumo scored for us, and Onana got himself a goal as well. Dorgu did get injured in that game. He is going to be out for a couple of weeks, so we are going to have to rotate the squad. But coming up in today's episode, we're going to play West Ham at home. We're going to play Newcastle away, which is a fairly big game at this stage in the season for us. And then we have a League Cup quarter-final away at Arsenal, who, of course, we beat 2-1, there it is, at the start of the season, in the opening game of the season. The league champions, defending champions Arsenal. If we have time, we might go for that game against Crystal Palace, but let's get into it with a game against West Ham. So Mbeumo's scoring antics has seen him being trusted back with that first. So Mbeumo has played his way back into the first team. He has now got 5 goals in 11 starts in the league, 12 in 18 overall. So that league form is really starting to pick up for him. His partner up front, Marcus Rashford, has gone off the boil a little bit, but I still feel like that is our best partnership up top, so they are going to continue. As we mentioned, Dorgu has got a bit of a knock, so we will look at bringing in Luke Shaw at left back. Maguire and Yoro are playing quite well together at the back as well. Lenny Yoro is a player that I probably should start giving some more football to, and with De Ligt suspended, it kind of makes sense to play him over the likes of Lisandro Martinez and McConville at centre-back with Harry Maguire. And you never know, if he keeps playing well, it might continue for him. Mazraoui's going to go at right back. Onana, Gallagher, Mainu and Fernandes are going to make up the midfield diamond with, of course, Bryan Mbeumo and Marcus Rashford up top. Just double checking that there isn't anybody that I'm missing for my bench. I don't think there is. Chido Obi is on the bench, as we have got injuries to Šeško. He's out for another 10 days with a bit of a calf strain. So we may well see Chido Obi in this game against West Ham. I probably should have showed you the league table. We are currently fourth. The Newcastle game, I said, is a big one because they are right behind us and they've got a game in hand. So that's why I wanted to show you that one. We have got a game in hand over Chelsea and Arsenal. And if we win that game in hand, which I don't think is this one. No, it's not this one. We could actually leapfrog Chelsea and really put some pressure on Arsenal depending on how their fixtures go today. So without further ado, let's kick off at home to West Ham United. As you can see, we've been scoring quite a few goals, and Buemo is to thank for a lot of those goals, to be fair. And it's just time will tell whether or not he continues that good run of form that he's in. Rashford, who we said hasn't been scoring as much. In fact, I don't think he scored in any of those games that we played off camera. He has put us 1-0 up. So that's good to see. Don't mind that at all. And West Ham have got an equalised through Samson Tovide just before half-time. Do I know Samson Tovide? From Colchester, apparently. They signed him last season from Colchester. He looks a fairly handy player for a 22-year-old. Lamens is back in the side after his injury, which saw Radek Vitic come in and didn't really set the world alight, but he got us through a difficult patch. Condition-wise, we're all good. A little bit worried about Fernandes. I do feel like it's too early to take off Fernandes. He is such an influential player for us. There is a little bit of interest in him from Atletico Madrid at the moment, and he is 32, but we have just got him to sign a new deal, so he is going to stay at the club a little while longer. And Tovide, the man from Colchester, has just scored again to put us 2-1 down. We are going to bring on a couple of players here. Bruno Fernandes' time is up, so Chido Obi is going to come on for him, and Cunha is going to come on for Mbuemo, and we're going to drop Cunha into that number 10 role. In fact, we need to go and win this game, so I'm thinking potentially we put him up front and just play a 4-3-3 with a narrow 3 up top and see if we can get a goal here. Yeah, it's always frustrating when you have such a good run off camera, and then as soon as you hit record, something like this happens. But Cunha, one of our subs, has come off the bench and he has turned it around. I think he might have got an assist there for Rashford for the third. He scored the second. I think he assisted for the third. Out of the blue, we've seen a great performance from Marcus Rashford, and we have leapfrogged Chelsea. We are currently up to third place, and a good win in our game in hand will take us just behind Arsenal. I do feel like it's going to be so important for us to try and get into that top 4 this season. We need Champions League football to help us bring in better players. We need Champions League football for the financial revenue, again, to help us bring in better players. I think the squad that we are developing is good. It is a good squad, but I would like to see just a bit more quality, really. I think the players that we need to bring in now, they shouldn't be squad players. I think up to now we kind of brought in these squad players that we're rotating in and out, and maybe players for the future. But I think from now on in, we need to look at players who are going to be first team players, come in and improve what we have in our starting 11. One of those players for me is going to be Samu Agahawa. I was in for him in the summer, as I think I mentioned in a previous episode. But this guy is the one that I think could be our Haaland. He is an absolute beast. He scored 13 in 20, 7 and 11 in the league. And I really do think he is the type of player we need. I think he's going to guarantee us goals. We did get a bid accepted for him in the summer. He decided that he didn't want to speak to us at all. Point blank, didn't want to speak to us. So, I mean, I'm hoping that now we've gone in for him again. And we went in for him again because he wasn't happy with his teammates at Porto. Now we've gone in for him again. He might at least give us the time of day. Before, he wouldn't even let us have a conversation. So let's see what happens with that and see if we can actually negotiate something with him. We have had our League Cup semi-final draw. So either us or Arsenal are going to play either Fulham or Brighton. So, I mean, it's an attractive prospect for a semi-final against Fulham or Brighton for either us or Arsenal, as both of us, I'd imagine, would be looking at trying to win that competition. Remember, the board said that they wanted success both in Europe and domestically, and I think winning a League Cup would go some way towards ticking off that objective. But before we play this quarterfinal, we have to go and play at Newcastle. St James's Park is waiting for us. Brian Mbeumo is a little bit unhappy, wants to negotiate a new contract. He's on a good deal at the moment, and his deal doesn't run out for about 3 years. So I don't know. I mean, we're looking at bringing in another striker, so I don't want to commit to giving him a new deal just yet. But a big performance in the next couple of games might change my mind, especially if he gets us into a semi-final of the League Cup. I don't think we're going to make any changes off the bat. No, I don't think there's anybody that I want to bring in for this game against Newcastle because, as I say, Newcastle are breathing down our necks a little bit. We have made the gap a little bit bigger, so it's a 6-point gap now, but they do have a game in hand over us. So a win here could really see us put a bit of a cushion, a little bit of daylight between us and them. They have got Josh Zirkzee. Remember him from last season. They've signed Raheem Sterling as well. So they've got a decent side. Mateus Nunes has signed there as well. And they have gone 1-0 up through Maximilian Bayer. Yeah. I was looking at Zirkzee thinking he could be the one to come back and sting us, because that just tends to happen a lot, doesn't it, when you're playing Football Manager or Championship Manager. If you sell a player and they play against you, of course they're going to come on and score. So let's see how that one plays out. But not particularly happy with how that first half has gone. I mean, for me, I'm not adverse to making subs early if we have to. Cunha came off the bench and scored and assisted in his last game. Mbeumo is in a rich own form at the moment, so we don't want to take him off. Rashford's coming off and Mbeumo's coming straight onto the pitch. And that also gives us that option of bringing on Chido Obi as well later on in the game to see if we can get back into it. Bruno Fernandes is struggling a little bit as well. So I think we are going to make that sub. Chido Obi on, do what we did in the last game. That seemed to work quite well for us. We're going to go direct with that narrow front three, which is, funny enough, what we started playing this project with right at the start of season 1. That was our kind of system, and it didn't really go too well for us. But it definitely got us back into the last game, and hopefully it can get us something out of this one. We're going to bring off Mainu and bring McTominay on as well. That's going to be our last sub. 15 minutes to go. We're in danger of going long here, I think. And I think we are going to have to go long, as Lewis Miley has just scored to make it 2-0. We are going to go long, and we are definitely going to try and counter-attack and just get it forward as quickly as we can, boys. Xerxes on the pitch now as well. That is the final whistle. It doesn't do much for us in terms of our league position. It's not the end of the world because Fulham have overtaken us, but we do have that game in hand on them. But it does put Newcastle and now Liverpool right on our tails. The FA Cup third round draw has been made, and we are going to be playing away to Doncaster, who are currently 16th in the Championship, or the English First Division as it was known back on this game. So, I mean, we might bring you that when that is scheduled, because actually that gives us a good chance to have a real look at the squad and some of the younger players. The Agahauer transfer offer was accepted, but again, he's just rejected the move point blank without wanting to speak to us, which is a shame because, you know, we could have afforded it. When we look at these players that are available to us, there isn't really anyone that stands out. So, you know, I think if we are going to sign someone, we do need to be getting ourselves into those European spots. Okay, viewers, it is League Cup quarter-final time. We are playing Arsenal again. We're away from home. Normally, I'd rotate for a League Cup game, but with the pressure from the board to win some silverware, we need to go as strong as possible. Dorgu is going to come back into the side. Is De Ligt fit enough to play? He isn't yet. So Lenny Yoro is going to continue at centre-back next to Maguire. And I think that is the only changes we're going to make. The only one I was thinking about was maybe McTominay in for Kobbie Mainoo. Maybe we will do that, actually. I don't see that as weakening us too much, to be fair. But other than that, it's no changes. Arsenal, I mean, yeah, they're playing a fairly strong side, aren't they? Calafiori, Hincapié, Saliba, Mosquera. So no Gabriel, he's on the bench. Interestingly enough, Marino, Zubamendi, Chiesa's a new signing for them. Eze, Saka and Gyökeres. So they are going fairly strong in that 4-2-3-1. Yeah, this one could go either way. I think we have to disregard the fact that we beat them in the league earlier on this season. That feels like a long time ago, and Bruno Fernandes has just missed a penalty. So his poor run of form is in danger of continuing here. He's already down to a 5 out of 10, which isn't great. Maybe I was a little bit hasty with offering him that new deal, because since he has signed that, he hasn't been the same Bruno Fernandes as he was at the start of this season and throughout the entirety of last season, really. And he is going to come off. I've seen enough, and I know that we need to do something to change the game here. Arsenal, we have limited them to one shot and one on target. So defensively, I feel like we're doing okay. But I can imagine they're going to come at us and throw the kitchen sink at us in this second half. Already they have upped on their shots, and we haven't really from that first half. This could go badly for us if we're not careful. And it does. Arsenal score. It's Eberiche Eze, I believe, who scored it. We're going to bring on Chido Obi for Rashford. Chido Obi, he is still only young, but he is developing nicely. So I want to keep just drip feeding him the game time. And to be honest, I trust him. Mazraoui is going to come off, and Diego Dallo is going to come on as well, just because he's not having a great game. And yeah, I think that we can't be scared to make all of our subs. And I just spoke about Chido Obi's development. He has gone and scored to equalise. It's been ruled out straight away by Gyökeres, putting them 2-1 ahead. Yeah, it's a very topsy-turvy game. That's one of the I think that's one of the good things about this game, is that it's so fast-paced, isn't it? It really is so fast-paced that as soon as we score, they score, and 5 minutes have gone. You know, it's one of those. And I think that's part of the charm of Championship Manager 102. The fact that this sort of stuff happens. And we have lost. That is a little bit gutting. Yeah, I'll say that. That's a little bit gutting. It could have been so different if Bruno Fernandes hadn't have missed that penalty. So Arsenal will go on to get a tie against Fulham, and the other sides that are still left in it are Liverpool and Newcastle. So we were definitely on the more favourable side of the draw, but just couldn't get past Arsenal in the quarterfinals. That could be detrimental to us and this project, as the board have said they want success domestically. And I'll be honest, I don't think we're good enough to win the league this season. So we're kind of pinning our hopes on that FA Cup. I said I'd bring you the Aston Villa game if we had time, and would you look at that? It's come round so quickly that I think we can squeeze it in. And I think I'm actually going to make some changes to the starting lineup. There's a couple of players that maybe need a couple of games out just to find their feet again, and there's a couple of players in the squad that I think, you know, probably deserving. They've been waiting patiently for a time to play some football. One thing that's caught my eye here is Galatasaray's Mo Salah has decided he's too old to play football. We were in for Mo Salah last season, but he did decide to go to Galatasaray instead of Man United. He didn't want to come to us because we were a rival club, and again, that could have been a big signing for us. He scored 12 and 26 with 6 assists last season for Galatasaray, and he has announced he is going to retire. That, like I say, that could have been a big signing for us, but it wasn't to be. In terms of this side, I'm feeling we do need to make some changes, just to remind players that their spot in the squad is not guaranteed every week. Lisandro Martinez is going to come in just for his second appearance of the season, but he is going to be Lenny Yoro's partner at centre-back for this one. McTominay didn't really do much for us. Kobbie Mainoo's back into the side. Bruno Fernandes, I don't want to punish him for missing a penalty, but I think Cunha has put in some good performances off the bench. And Bruno Fernandes, as you can see here, he's been off it for a little while. 5, 6, 6, 6 in his last 4 games. I also think that Šeško should probably come back onto the bench. He's probably in with a shout at the start, actually, thinking about it. So we have made some changes. Just seeing if there's anybody else we want to throw in. I don't think there is. We are going to make some changes because, like I said, I just don't want players getting complacent. I really don't want players getting complacent. That's the worst thing that can happen, especially if you're on a good run. And in terms of league games, we are, or we certainly were, until that Newcastle game. Is it going to be the curse of the camera where we seem to do really well when we're not recording, and as soon as I hit that little red button, we struggle? Okay, we got through to half-time 0-0. Tyrone Mings has had to go off injured. They're kind of playing this 4-2-3-1 as well, which is interesting. It's interesting. Cunha isn't having a good game, but I'm going to give him a little bit more time. I mean, Bruno Fernandes, he's not having a bad season. He's just hit a little bit of a rough patch, and it did coincide with him signing a new deal. I kind of feel like if he had scored that penalty against Arsenal, that could have kick-started his season again for us. We're going to bring off Cunha. We're going to bring off Mbeumo, who hasn't scored since going on that run before I hit record. And I think we'll bring off Dorgu for Diego Dalot. There we go. 3 changes. Are we going to get something from this game? A point is enough to put us back into 4th. And, Bruno Fernandes, how is your luck? Right at the death, he's had a goal disallowed. You've got to feel for him at this moment in time, because he's missed a penalty in the last game. And he's had a goal, a last-minute winner, disallowed against Villa. When your luck's not in, it's not in, is it? So that puts us 4th in the league. The worst that could happen is that we drop down to 5th if Newcastle win their game in hand. We're 4th in the league on 32 points. City are top of the league on 42 with a game in hand on us. But we're only 6 points off of Arsenal, and we're only 2 points behind Fulham. Looking forward to the next episode. I think we're going to bring you back for that Doncaster game so you can see a bit more of the squad in action, because I'm very conscious that you're only seeing a lot of league games or high-stake games at the moment. And then we'll play the games against Chelsea and Arsenal and possibly Brentford again, depending on whether we have enough time in the episode. That is all we got time for as part of this episode of Saving United. If you have enjoyed it, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments, how do you think I'm doing? Am I doing a good job in my second season? Probably better than my first season, but there's always room for improvement. And until I see you guys in the next one, take care.